chat?
I'm about to chat. My husband said to pretend I'm doing, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm about to chat.
Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV. Tune in on Monday, tune in on Tuesday, tune in on Wednesday, tune in on Thursday, tune in on Friday, through the weekend. Oh, Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV. Tiffany TV.
Hey everyone, I know that I've been a little MIA here on YouTube. It's just been a really tumultuous time, both in our country and in my mind with everything going on with Black Lives Matter movement. It's just been a lot. I've been trying my best to stay present in what's going on, to use my platform and use my voice, but also stay very conscious that I am carrying a child and, you know, trying to stay as healthy as possible and not to, you know, get too overwhelmed and pass that down to him, and finding peace in this time and finding optimism and finding reasons to smile and still be happy. It has been very emotionally charging, but it's also been, for me, a very inspiring time because I've seen so many things happen amongst the Black community. Just us being here for one another and, you know, supporting one another, uplifting one another, coming together in a way that I haven't seen us do in a long time, educating ourselves, educating our allies. I hope that in this time you guys are finding things to still be joyful about. I'm grateful that I'm pregnant at this time. A lot of people are like, oh my God, it's such a scary time to be pregnant. But my pregnancy has literally saved me from being depressed or being super angry and stressed out during both the pandemic and the civil rights movement going on right now. It's helped me to stay centered. So I'm pregnant right when I'm supposed to, and honestly, I'm proud and excited to bring my son into this world right now at a time where we're really owning our value and knowing what we're worth as a whole. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm optimistic and I'm always looking for the light at the end of the tunnel and what I can see this being. And I can see just a lot of power happening amongst us. So with all of that being said, and talking about finding our joy and remaining in our joy, I posted about my 2-year wedding anniversary back on May 29th. That weekend, I was actually gonna post this vlog, a complete run through of my wedding experience, my destination wedding experience, and just show you guys all the fun that we had and give you some of the little deets and how I put things together and how I came up with the concepts and all of that good stuff. I put it off for a month because I just was not in the mind space to do it. I really wanted to get back to celebrating my joy, celebrating the fact that as a Black woman, I chose my career and I do what I love on a daily basis. I really wanted to edit this video and show you guys the fun that went into our wedding, but then I also want to share with you the ups and the downs, and anyone who's planning a destination wedding, hopefully I can give you some tips that'll help you. So without further ado, here we go. So me and my husband were married May 29th, 2018 in Riviera Maya, Mexico.
Brother, this is it. Ain't no more slanging and banging.
What? What are you talking about? I'm slanging and banging. What's wrong with you?
It's currently May 11th, so it's a little over 2 weeks away from my wedding, and I'm still working on my gown, but that's okay because I've done a lot more in a lot less time. So here is where I'm at, and you guys are gonna be like, what the crap? But when I put this up, my dress is gonna be done. So you'll know that I got a lot done in 2 weeks. This is where we're at. Cutting out the organza pieces for my gown. We went through destinationweddings.com, and that's how we narrowed down the place that we were gonna stay at. They give you a consultant to work with and they help you. She dealt with my guest list, talking back and forth with the resort and my guests and like booking people's rooms. So I would suggest going through it. We had a really good experience with destinationweddings.com. We got married at Blue Bay Resort. I personally would not recommend. I'm going to tell you why as we get further along in the story. But the venue itself, the wedding venue, was beautiful. It was perfect, exactly what I wanted. The chandelier and the platform, everything was perfect when it came to that. Walking into our suite. Look how pretty. And there goes my sexy groom. We didn't choose Mexico for a specific reason. We knew we wanted to be married on an island, but we were trying to, one, keep costs low for ourselves, and two, of course, keep costs low for anyone who was traveling to our wedding. I would say when you're looking for a resort, look for things that work for everybody if that's important to you. Most of my family made a vacation out of their stay, so they came like a few days before and then they stayed after the wedding and just made a vacation out of it. One of the biggest things for me in planning a destination wedding, I wanted to lessen the stress. I didn't want to be that bride that was like stressed the whole entire time. I didn't want a huge wedding. With it being destination, we only had about 100 guests, and for a destination wedding, that's huge. For us, 100 people was a win. We were excited to have a smaller group. My biggest goal was that I was not gonna stress and I was gonna enjoy this, because that's what it's supposed to be. Your wedding should be enjoyable. You should not be stressed. All the things that you hear about, oh, you just stress, like that's just what happens on your wedding. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because I did not stress. I planned things out well ahead of time. I took care of everything I needed to ahead of time. I even made my own dress. I wasn't sewing up until the last minute. Like, we were stress-free. My advice to you, if it's going to stress you out, let it go. Your goal is to get to that aisle, to see him at the end of the aisle, and to make it down and you guys get married. And that's what I focused on the whole entire time, and I can say that successfully. I did not have a stressful wedding planning experience at all. One of my major tips is that you should definitely have a coordinator. So whether you hire a wedding planner, or for me, my aunt, I actually made her my coordinator, so she knew everything. Like, she had pictures of decor, she had pictures of what I wanted everything to look like. She had a list of the things that I wanted that day. So when that day came, I was able to just sit back and drink mimosas and get my hair done and get my makeup done, and I really had no idea what was going on behind the scenes, and that's how it should be.
Did you want that bigger though?
What do you think?
I did like the big.
I like the big.
I mean, whatever we do, I'm gonna work it out. You get what I'm saying?
as a bride, you have to learn to let go. That's why it's important to have people that you trust, people that you have met with a few times. We met, I think, weekly up until my wedding, just to be sure that we were all on the same page and they knew exactly what I wanted. And I let go. I didn't have to worry about that once we got there, and it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna be natural.
How do you after hours and hours and hours of separating little pieces of cake? I'm over it. But excited.
You don't want to put anything in your hair?
What do you mean? All flowers?
Yeah. I'm not gonna like that.
You know what?
Not that you need to.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is
I just know
really
you
good.
said that before, so you look amazing.
I'll show you the video.
What you think you need? She was saying before she thought she might put a couple flowers in.
Oh, no. Yeah, I like
Sorry,
that.
sorry.
Don't look at me. Do you want a mix over a video?
One person goes down.
Is it on the face? It's on the face. Get out my face!
That's one of my major tips, is to make sure that you have someone who knows the ins and outs of what you want so that they can handle it that day and you don't have to stress about it. Another important thing, not everyone's gonna be able to do this. I'm Puerto Rican, so I have a lot of Spanish speakers in my family, and so my aunts were able to communicate easily back and forth with the staff that were at the resort. Now, depending on where you're going or where you're getting married, you may not know someone who can translate for you or can be that liaison between you guys. Talk to the resort before you get there to see if there is someone who you can have on site that speaks English well and that speaks the language well, so that you can easily communicate. We did miss our plane that morning, which probably was the most stressful part of the 2-year planning of our wedding. It was so unexpected. We got there over an hour before our plane left, but then we found out that for international flights, we were supposed to be there 2 hours before, and they had just boarded the plane and closed the door, and so we couldn't get on. That was scary and heartbreaking, and we wound up having to spend tons of money to get on the next flight. That was probably one of the craziest moments of the whole wedding planning. But we were able to get on the next plane, and then we wound up being on the plane with my mom and my sister, who were flying out that day as well. Once we got there, everything was beautiful. My mom's 50th birthday was the next day, so we just celebrated. We had a really good time. We toured the resort. We seen where all of our events were gonna be. We were having a welcome party. They took us to where we were getting married, so we were able to see that and tell them exactly how we wanted things set up. Then came wedding day. Wedding day, again, for me was mostly stress-free because my aunt was handling everything. Come to find out afterwards, there was a lot going on, but she was handling everything and I had no idea. And again, I can't stress this enough. You need to have people on your team that's going to do that for you. Even if you're not having a destination wedding, a wedding overall, you need to have somebody that knows the ins and outs so that the day of your wedding, you are not stressing about stuff. The one thing we could not avoid, 5 minutes before I was walking down the aisle, the cart was about to come pick me up and drop me off at the location. Kev was already waiting at the altar. Everyone was already in their seats. It was just me and my dad and I think my maid of honor. And we got a call asking us where the minister was. I was like, don't you guys know where the minister is? Because you were supposed to book it. They completely forgot to book our officiant. So, yeah. We wound up getting some money back, but even in the beginning, they didn't want to give us money back. They wanted to blame it on me. I didn't like that at all. We were like 2 minutes away from not getting married. But God, and this is why I always say I am like so connected to my higher power, because my godfather is an ordained minister. And while he does everybody's weddings in our family, I wanted him to just come and enjoy the wedding and enjoy Mexico. I didn't want him working. I didn't want him to have to do any of that. I wanted him to witness me getting married and just enjoy it. But in that moment, we had no choice but to, ask my godfather to get up. He was already sitting, waiting for me to walk down the aisle. My aunt had to go and ask him, could he perform the ceremony? He tells her that before he left his hotel room, something told him to put the wedding book in the back of his pocket. Just something told him right before he left to take it with him just in case. He was already ready to do our ceremony.
Dearly beloved, We are gathered together here in the sight of God and in the presence of this company to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
Everything worked out the way that it was supposed to work. Something in his spirit told him that he was going to be performing our wedding that day. Like, that amazes me, and it wound up being so perfect. Having him there was just so personal for us, and it just felt like family, and it just felt like it was supposed to be that way. So even though that could have been the moment that like sent me over the edge, it wound up being better than it was gonna be if it had went the way that I planned it. And after that, we partied the night away. Like, we had the best time, we had the best wedding. We only have professional. Hey, I seen you.
You said we was partying.
He's fired. My theme for my wedding was just like rustic vintage. So we had the long tables, and we had the bird cages and the lanterns. I priced out what getting flowers over there and getting like centerpieces and all that stuff would be, and it was ridiculous. I love DIY. So for my centerpieces, for all the floral decor on my tables, we had a big suitcase, and we filled it with all of the floral things, all of the things that we needed for the centerpieces, the vines and the flowers and all of the stuff that we needed. And then when we got to Mexico, we had a day where me, my bridesmaids, my mom, my aunt, we just sat together, put some music on, we had our drinks, and we just made the centerpieces. My mom did the seating chart, my mom did our table numbers. I think the one thing that we rented from the location were like the lanterns and the bird cages. We rented those because it would be too much to get that all shipped over, but the flowers and everything was so lightweight that it was easy to just put that in a suitcase. One of the more expensive things to bring was the big board, which was the board for the seating chart, but it was worth it because it was so pretty. And then as far as buying the flowers, I wanted to make sure that even though they were fake flowers and they were fake centerpieces, they looked real. No one could tell, like even in the pictures, no one could tell that the flowers were not real. We got them from Michael's, and then you know, with Michael's, you get that 50% off coupon. There's always a 50% off coupon. Me, mom, my sister, we would go in. I'd buy one, my sister would buy one, my mom would buy one, and then my aunt would go to the other Michael's and get a few there, and we just started doing that. And then one of our flowers went on 50% off, and so we just racked up at that point. We started having meetings, I would say like probably like a year before my wedding. Like, we really started sitting down and planning detail, and then I think every week or every other week up until the wedding for like 6 months, we were making sure that we were meeting. My girls, it took them a little longer to find dresses that we all loved. I wanted something that they were comfortable in. I think they would say I was not a bridezilla at all. I really let them have the freedom. My maid of honors wore ivory, and my bridesmaids wore champagne, and I had on a mix of two. So my gown was a deep ivory cream color at the bottom, but the overskirt had champagne in it, and the beading on the top of my dress was ivory base with like champagne beading. So it all came together. And then the guys' suits were like a champagne tan color, and so was my husband's. Everyone who attended the wedding had to wear ivory. People literally, they wanted to fight me. They really did. I sent out a postcard in the reminder, in the save the date, in text, on the website. I put these cards that said, ivory is mandatory. I got all these texts. Can I wear nude? Can I wear brown? What about black? Can I wear black sandals? No. I was so adamant about it. I'm fine with my guests seeing me as a bridezilla asking for that. Here's what I knew. I knew that even with everyone being so like, oh my God, I gotta find something ivory, it's so hard. I knew what the outcome would be, and it would look so beautiful and cohesive, and everyone on the beach in these ivory outfits. The pictures were amazing, the party looked amazing, and I'm really big at creating experiences, memorable experiences. I got that from my parents. Everybody knows that the Laibhen cookouts and the Laibhen parties are always over the top. We are big on creating experience. I think when everyone got there and they seen everyone in their ivory, it clicked, and everybody was just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And I love those type of moments. At my reception, I wanted to make sure that my culture was tied in. We have a crazy mixed family. I am Haitian, Puerto Rican, and African American. Kevin is 100% Jamaican, and our family is Dominican, Trinidadian. We have family from everywhere. So we had Kevin's line brother, my brother Cam. Him and my father worked together to create a playlist of like old school music, new school music, and definitely soca, reggae, Spanish music section. We needed that, and we turned that place out. When I say people were standing outside, like people that were just on the resort were trying to get in, trying to get over the ropes to get in. It was crazy. As we got started partying, we handed out glow sticks, we handed out flags from all the Caribbean countries. My wedding was literally a celebration, and I wouldn't change anything. It was beautiful. It was exactly what I needed, and it only happened because I had a team that helped me make that happen. I could never have pulled that off myself. With destination weddings, make sure you have a coordinator, someone who knows what you need. Make sure you have someone that speaks that language, or at least they have someone there that can speak English and then, you know, speak that language as well. You know, DIY what you can. Don't spend an arm and a leg on flowers if you don't have to, but if you can, go for it, girl. I hope that you enjoyed this video. We had a dream wedding. May 29th is our anniversary overall. It is when we started dating, and then we got engaged on May 29th when we were 8 years in. On our 10-year anniversary, we got married. And a little fun fact, my parents also were together for 10 years and got married on their 10-year anniversary. It wasn't planned like that at all, but it worked out. It's really cute and it's easy. We don't have 5 different anniversaries to celebrate. This is the update on the belly. Vlog is coming next. I'm vlogging now, and then I'm gonna be editing and putting that all together just to give you updates on how pregnancy is going and everything else. If you have any questions, leave them below, please. If you have any questions about my wedding, about anything else, please let me know. I will try to address everything and give you as much advice as I can. Thank you for tuning in. I haven't said this in so long, and I'm excited to say it. Until next time, guys, keep living in love, in light, and in your truth. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you.